Well, this is the archive and manuscript store at the John Rylands Library. This is where we house our archives and manuscripts, and we're going to go down and get out one of the Sinhalese manuscripts that we're going to be digitising today. So this area down here is one of the areas where some of the Sinhalese manuscripts are held that we have. You can see the difference in the size of some of them. This is number MS1, which is stored in this huge box. I don't even know how many leaves this is going to be, but it's quite different looking. So that one's going to be incredibly difficult to digitise. And then you have various different sizes. And today we're going to be digitising MS5. So this is the imaging studio at the Rylands Library. You'll see behind me here we have the manuscript set up on one of our copy stand areas. We have a number of different ways that we'll digitise items in the library. Bound volumes and manuscripts, we have book cradles and other ways of doing it. But due to the size and nature of this item, we need to have a lot more versatility to work around it. You'll notice here, this is the camera that we'll be using. It's a Phase 1 XF with an IQ4 back. So this is a medium format digital camera. We don't use any scanners or anything like that. Everything's shot with digital cameras because it's much more versatile, it's much higher quality. We're able to digitize items much quicker than we would do with a scanner. Everything that you see is tethered straight into the computer. So as you can see on this screen here, we've already got a live view of the manuscript on the table. What we're going to need to do is set all this up using the live view. We're going to have the camera much higher up out of view. So this enables us to do all of our focus settings and all of our corrections before we actually start the digitization process. So the idea behind the digitisation process is to present a digital copy of the manuscript exactly how it appears in real life. So it's incredibly important that we get the colour accuracy perfect when we're displaying these items, which is why we use something like these golden thread targets. So each session we will have this in the beginning of the manuscript. Doesn't matter which kind of manuscript or book it is, we always keep it in. This enables us to check the whites are correct, the blacks are correct. We've got tones there as well, and it also has an inches and centimetres scale across the top. All the other colours that you see and the numbers underneath are lab values, where we can kind of hover over these whites and colours, and then we can check that they're exactly as they should be. So if I take an image now, we can see there that it's appeared up on screen. I've kind of already set everything up so it's working, and if we hover over these targets here, we can use these values across the top to maintain our accuracy, make sure that it's not overexposed, it's not underexposed, or the colour is completely wrong, like for example this. So I can use this chart to bring it back to its normal proper colour. So when we open the manuscript, we're going to photograph everything, including the back of this board and the fly leaves at the beginning and the end. Now you'll notice what I've done here is just use some foam support under some black, just to make sure that the height of each page is the same. So you can see there, so we're going to image this whole area instead of doing individuals. So next, I'm just going to turn the pages. So I'm just going to make sure that the strings are a little loose. This material, palm leaf, is fragile, but it is still incredibly robust. And it's lasted a few hundred years without really any problems. And sometimes it's a little bit better than paper. So once we get going, it's actually quite a quick process. So here we're starting on the text pages now. I've got to the first page of text in the manuscript now, so I'm going to take this photograph and then you can see how it comes up on the screen and the quality and everything. So as well as the actual digital file itself, for somebody to be able to interrogate these items online, there has to be associated metadata with that item. So that isn't part of my role, but we do work very closely with the other teams within the library to provide this. So when we're online here, you can see that we have the reference number for the manuscript itself, and then associated metadata. When there's dates provided, that'll be input, description, we have languages, we have the medium, we have the size, and then various provenance of where it's came from. So that's really important to capture all of that information, so all of our collections are open to everybody to interrogation and for things to be easily found and referenced. The very nature of what we do, it's incredibly important for people to be able to access these items and to be able to read them online, and it's difficult for people to be able to actually physically travel to the building and see these items. And these items themselves, particularly these palm leaf manuscripts, they're incredibly difficult to handle, they're incredibly fragile and difficult to read.